Hello everyone, I'm Ellen Kodadek, the Executive and Artistic Director of Flushing Town Hall. We're all getting ready for our Step Up Soirée this coming Saturday, Flushing Town Hall's first ever online gala, and we hope that you'll join us. But you know, getting ready for a gala is really hungry work. We also know that you're going to be hungry by Saturday, so enjoy some of the incredible, delicious dishes that Chef Jonathan Forgash is going to teach us all how to prepare.
Hi everybody, I am Chef Jonathan Forgash. I am the co-founder of Queens Together and the Queens Dinner Club. We are at our kitchen in Astoria, Queens. We're doing a cooking demo today for Flushing Town Hall. They are having their virtual gala, the Step Up Soirée. You can find out more at flushingtownhall.org. This menu is based on what's in the cabinets, what's in the fridge and freezer, what's in the pantry. We're going to do 4 dishes. We're going to do a chocolate salami for dessert. We're going to do a tuna and white bean dish. We are going to do a shrimp ceviche. And what's my last one? Oh, one of my favorites. We're going to do chicken with a Peruvian cilantro sauce. So let's get to work. So the first dish we're going to do is chocolate salami. Why? If there's a little bit of freezing involved, so if we start it now, it'll be ready when we're having dessert. So this recipe comes from a friend, Chef Judy Witz in Tuscany, Italy. American, been there for a long time. Her company is called Diva Cucina. You can find her online. She has amazing, very family-centric, old-school recipes from the region. And one of the things she taught me was chocolate salami. Now, it's a funny dish because if I was bringing it to your house for Shabbat dinner, you'd be thinking, why is he bringing a meat dish to my house for dessert? But chocolate salami is actually chocolate and butter cookies and butter and eggs and cocoa powder. It's a riff on the idea of the salami hanging in a butcher shop. So what we have here is 5 ounces of melted and cooled butter. And I'm putting on the scale because, well actually, what we need is 6 ounces of butter cookies. These. 5 ounces, 6 ounces. So what we're going to do is we're going to turn those butter cookies into crumbs. But what's cool about this dish is you want the crumbs to not be uniform. You want a little bit of chunk to it because those little chunks of butter cookie are going to look like the bits of fat that you would see in the dish. And I know this doesn't really sound appealing, but I can tell you it's one of my wife's favorite dishes, right honey?
Yep.
So this is it. Now, if you have kids over visiting, or your own kids, this is a really great dish to do with them because this is their job. You can do this in a food processor, but honestly, why bother? We're almost done. Okay, that looks good to me. So, we're gonna mix the yolks, the sugar, and the butter. Second, so we need a bowl. We need, how much sugar? We need a 1/2 cup of sugar. So a 1/2 cup of sugar. And we need 2 egg yolks. All right. So 2 egg yolks, right? So normally you might save the whites for something, but we're just not in this case. And what we're going to do is we are going to turn this into a batter. Okay, so let's double check this. So we have 2 egg yolks, half a cup of sugar, and once we have this, see this nice yellow cake batter, we're going to add in our softened 5 ounces of butter. And then this comes together really quick. Add in the cookie, and then the last 2 ingredients are cocoa powder, and we already had this one out, some amaretto. So at this point, I'm going to lose the whisk. I'll go back to this. Okay, then we need 6 tablespoons of tablespoons. And if you like it darker, you can go a little heavy.
So usually with baking, you have to be really precise with your measurements. This doesn't look really precise.
I've done this dish so many times, so I can see what you're getting at. I am not a precise baker kind of guy. I like just cooking. And this dish is extremely flexible. I have done it for you, if you remember when you were pregnant and we weren't using raw eggs. An ounce of amaretto or espresso or grappa or whatever you like. I mean, essentially you're mashing some sort of crummy stuff into butter and eggs and sugar.
That looks really dry.
It does, doesn't it? But I did measure. But what we're going to do is we want it to be like a mud, because eventually we're just going to be rolling this into a log and putting this, there we go, look at that. See? It's holding.
It smells good too.
It does, right? All right, so now let's get this out of the way. And we need some parchment paper. Okay, now we're almost done. Okay, now it looks gross.
Yeah.
But it does look good. So what we're going to do is we're going to take straight edge, there we go, and we're going to use this to mash it back into a uniform log, okay? Oh, that looks terrible. But you'll see what it's like All right.
That's it?
That's it. Dish number 1 out of the way.
Almost.
Well, almost. All right, let's move on to the next one. The second dish we're going to do is a shrimp ceviche. So I started off already with some leftover shrimp that we had. And this is just frozen shrimp I got from Costco. I reference Costco a lot because we have it close by and I love them. So poached shrimp, tail off. So ceviche, it can be done with anything. In this case, we're using shrimp and I cooked it up first. Limes, cilantro, red onion, jalapeno, salt, and in this case we're going to add some avocado and some tomatoes because we had it, and I'm making this for my wife and she loves these foods, and that's what we're doing. So I'm going to come over here. We need a red onion, we need some tomatoes, and we need, there we go, 1, maybe 2. And then we need cilantro and jalapeno and slime. So really, this is just an all-in-one dish. The cilantro has already been cleaned. So just chop it up, fine or rough, minced, whatever you like. Think of ceviche as making a salad dressing, all right? You're doing it to taste. You are not doing a specific dish like a vinaigrette, that's a measure. I love red onion, my wife does not, so we're just gonna use a little bit of it. I'm gonna do it on the finer side. You're adding a little bit of color. Most importantly, you're adding some texture to the dish. Jalapeno, I'm just gonna use a little bit for the same reason, she is a wimp. And then definitely give your hands a good wash after you do this.
That looks like a lot.
Okay, so we're gonna go with half of that. Now we need some So now we're going to take an avocado, cut it in half, give it a twist, bottom end of the knife, twist, punch it off like that. Do not grab the pit off the knife with your hand.
Noted.
I don't have to explain that. Okay. So then we're going to take out the avocado. Once again, just a nice piece. And a really, really gentle toss. All right, that looks good.
It's too bad you can't smell it through the video because it really smells good too.
So I can taste the lime, a little bit of heat, just needs a drop more salt. And so you're cooking for your loved ones. You want to make it nice. So what do we have? We have got one of these.
That looks good. Wait, is that for me?
That is for you. Our next dish is chicken with Peruvian cilantro sauce. Now, we're working with what we have on hand. We have most of a rotisserie chicken from Costco. That's going to be the chicken in our dish. But the real star is a Peruvian cilantro sauce. Now, if you live in Queens and you know Jackson Heights on Roosevelt, you know that there's a bunch of Peruvian rotisserie chicken joints. And if you go long enough while you're waiting at the counter for your food, you will see them make this dish. And it is nothing but scraps, so that's perfect for our theme today. And this dish is cilantro, there's already some in here, scallions or onion, we happen to have some scallions. The idea of this dish is green things, some fat, some oil, some vinegar, some lime juice. So it's herbs and vinegar and fat and salt. And this gives you a nice punch of flavor for your chicken, your french fries, your fried yuca, boiled yuca, rice and beans, fried rice, anything, salad. This is definitely one of the best dressings you're ever gonna have. Maybe even as good or more so than the ceviche. So we have cilantro, scallion, lime, salt. We need some cumin. How much depends on you. I like the flavor, so half a teaspoon. And we need some olive oil, not extra virgin, not really good stuff, generic everyday olive oil. Some vinegar.
What about the lettuce?
I didn't get there yet.
Oh, sorry.
So, the other part of this dish, when you watch them, they're taking the limes that have already been squeezed out, but they're getting some juice. They're using white vinegar or red vinegar. They're using the stems of the cilantro because you don't need the leaves for the ceviche or for whatever other dish you're doing. And then for the lettuce, usually it's romaine or iceberg that's being served in the salad. So the butt of it, the bottom white part, not the root, but the very bottom white part that normally you wouldn't add in your salad, is what is chopped up and added to the sauce. And believe it or not, the lettuce has a really nice way of softening and rounding out the dish. It just makes it complete. I don't know exactly why. It's an odd thing to add. And then of course some jalapeno. Once again, not too much because she's not a fan. And then some mayonnaise. As you can see, nothing fancy, nothing gourmet. And then we're going to use a little bit of water, just to drop to a little bit of body. And then we're just gonna, so you can use a blender. I prefer a stick blender because it's easy and it takes up very little space. And you can see it's a dressing that you're just gonna pour over everything. And you want to have the acid of the vinegar or the lime or lemon. You want the salt and the fat and the body to round it up, but also the taste of the herbs. That's what's going to counterbalance the fried yuca, the fries, the roast chicken. Watch that. And I'm pretty sure that this is 100%. Whoever you serve this to is going to ask you for the recipe, so you can go online. Serious Eats, a bunch of other sites have a version of Peruvian cilantro sauce, some with a certain kind of cheese or sour cream. I've seen it with yogurt. I try to go as old school as possible, meaning the cheapest possible ingredients for the biggest possible punch and zero cost. Now, we have slow roasted this chicken. At least that's what they told me at Costco. And all you're gonna do now is take a dish, and since we're using this, might as well take advantage of it. This will be the base of our salad. And then all we're going to do is ladle on some of the sauce. And then you put a little bit more on the side. And really, folks, this is all you need. Now, my son would ask for some more flavor, some more lemon or lime. I have a lemon left. All right? You're gonna love it, I promise. Dish number 4. Tuna, white bean, very Tuscan dish, but we're using canned tuna. I believe it's bumblebee, very fancy. We're using canned cannellini bean, and this dish, you're mainly just tossing and stirring what you have now. We have some celery in the fridge, which will be nice. It'll give us a little bit of a crunch. Remember, you want texture, you want a little bit of pop, and you always want flavor. I saw that we had a nice red pepper, so we are going to use some of that. Start with that and see how that looks. And really, all of these dishes are good for the hot weather. You can see no real cooking except for poaching off the shrimp. And there's a lot of good rotisserie chicken out there, so if you're not going to make your own, it's easy to get some good stuff. Now, if you had some focaccia bread or ciabatta bread or some other nice crusty bread, I would say that you can make a nice little crostini out of it. Just some parsley, flat leaf. And you know, when you're doing this and you're thinking outside the box, think about who you're cooking for. Always think about your audience. I know you're eating, but you want the people that you're feeding to be happy and make those happy faces and to enjoy themselves. So what else? We have some lemon that we were just cutting up before, so we're going to squeeze in some lemon. And you don't want to get the pits in there. You know what else we want? We want some lemon zest for a little bit of brightness in this dish. Listen, lemon is for more than juicing. There's a lot of flavor in the zest. If you don't have one of these, you should get one.
What is it?
It's a, in the food world, it is a zester, but honestly, this originally, I believe, came from a microplane that a carpenter had in his garage. That's all it is. And so it's a microplane, so it's a very fine, you can see what's coming off of it. It's powder, you know, it's very, very light, fluffy almost, like snow. And some of your olive oil, some salt, some pepper, and now I'm gonna taste it, and if it's not too lemony and acidic, I'm gonna add a drop more red wine vinegar in this case, just to give it a little bit of that pop. Now, traditionally, this dish is made with fresh fennel. We don't have any. If we were in Tuscany and it was the right weather, right season, maybe you can get some good fennel pollen. We don't have that either. But you can see it's just a fresh, it's a nice fresh dish. And with tastings, appetizers, hors d'oeuvres, what you always want is, because you're not eating a lot, you're eating some, the acid, the herbs, the punch is really important. You want a small amount of a lot of flavor and something that makes people say, wow. You don't leave them full, you will leave them wanting more or wanting to see what you're serving next. So it's one of my favorite ways to do a dinner party or a lunch party is to put out a lot of tastings, as my 11-year-old would say, a nice grazing table of food, things to pick at and talk while you're eating and drinking with your friends.
So what were the ingredients in there again?
So in this case, it was canned white tuna, canned cannellini bean, some fresh parsley, celery, red pepper. I skipped the red onion because I know you're not a fan. Some fresh lemon juice and lemon zest, some olive oil, and some red wine vinegar. I think that's it, right?
Salt and pepper.
Salt? No, I didn't add pepper. I don't want the extra bite of it. I think this dish is really nice and light as is. And like I said, traditionally, it's made with fennel. But guess what? I don't have any fennel in hand. We're working with what we do have. And guess what? It's delicious. It's fine. All right, so we're all done. We have the shrimp and avocado ceviche, the chicken with Peruvian cilantro sauce, and you always serve the sauce on the side because people are gonna add it to everything. The tuna, the canned tuna with canned cannellini bean, and the chocolate salami with strawberries. Like I was saying, I would definitely serve it with the amaretto. We already have it. Thank you so much for being with us. My wife and I really appreciate it. I think she appreciates it more than you do right now. But have a great time at the gala and donate and try these recipes and have a wonderful night. Thanks for being with us.